Hi guys, welcome to another video. Again, I'm on my way to work and let me take off this seatbelt. I have a few minutes, so I decided I'm gonna do this video. So the name of this video is, I don't know what it is, I just have this voice lately. As soon as I start talking, all kind of shenanigans start happening. Alright, so the name of this video is Can She Change? Anybody can change. Anybody can change. But the question that you should be asking is, can I change her? The answer to that question is no. And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, change has to come from within. And as human beings, we need something to be accountable to in order to change. Meaning, for instance, we have an innate nature, okay? Let's say that I owned a grocery store, right? And you're always a loyal customer. You come to the grocery store every day, and I say to you, you know what? You're such a loyal customer. You know, you could have anytime you come to the grocery store, you can have anything in this grocery store that you want. The only thing that I would not allow you to have is what's here in this safe, because you know that's precious to me. It's special to me, and you know it's a rare kind of food. I can't get it anywhere else, and it means a lot to me. So you can have anything in the store that you want. You just cannot have the food that's in the safe. As human beings, guess what food we're gonna want? The one that's in the safe, because we're inquisitive by nature. This is why, you know, we're born from Eve, okay? So we're born with that nature. We always want what it is that we can't have. We can have anything, but the one that's off limit, that's what we want. Same as when the doctor say you go to get something done to your mouth, and the doctor said, well, listen, you cannot eat certain foods. Okay, you cannot eat certain foods because you will definitely mess up this procedure. Guess what? All of a sudden, that's the food that we want to eat. So you see how we are as human beings, right? So the only thing that can really change a human being, because the difference between us and something that's not human, for instance, if you want to change your radio, the radio station, right? You can just get up and change the radio station. Click, click. The radio station is going to change, because it doesn't have a right to choose, okay? But let's say that radio has a right to choose. The radio had a right to choose what radio station it wants to go on. We could change it as many times as we want to. It's always going to go back to whatever radio station it wants to be on, because it has the right to choose. All right? You understand the difference, okay? So as human beings, we're not something that you can just click, click and change. That change has to come from within. If it doesn't come from within, it's going to be very difficult to change. The only thing that will change a human being is that they have to be held accountable for their actions in a major way, and and I'm not just talking about, because you'll have prisoners that go to jail and they'll for their crime and come out and do the same crime. I'm not talking about in that way. I'm talking about to something higher than themselves, something that they cannot hide from, something that they love, and they don't want to hurt that thing, and they have to love it more than they love themselves, because change comes with sacrifice. And you know what you're sacrificing? That immediate gratification. That's what you're sacrificing, because change also is a good thing, but you would not really feel the effects of it until later, you know. But immediate gratification is what basically human beings are seeking and looking after, and that's why change is so difficult for them. So that's why they need to have a higher power in their life, like God, to be accountable to, because see, God is everywhere. If you love him and you don't want to hurt him, you know that he said don't do this, you know that he sees you, everything that you do. You can't hide from him. You can't go under the table, you can't go around the corner, you can't go underneath the settee. You cannot hide from him. Wherever you are, he will see you. So you have to be able to, okay, say, okay, I really want to change myself, because I now have a relationship with God, and I want him to be, you know, proud of me. I want to make him happy. I love him, and I don't want to hurt him. So now you're going to practice change. Because changes just don't come about like this. Because anything that you've been doing over a long period of time has become a habit. So now you have to change your personality, and now you have to slowly start changing your habits. You understand what I'm saying? And ask God to help you, because He will. And once He starts to help you, you will slowly change into and morph into the person that He wants you to be, that He knows that you can be. And then in the long run, that will make you a much happier person. So if you're going to take a lady off the street and say, you know what, I love this lady, I like her, she look nice or whatever, I know she got some bad ways about her, but I'm just going to change her, I can change her, or I can change him. It's not going to happen, love. No, nothing, no sweet punani, no sweetness, nothing is going to make somebody change unless they are ready to make that change. Give you an example. Before I develop a relationship with God, right? How I can say I was a savage, meaning that I just kind of hated men. I hated men, and I don't know if it's been growing up with a single mother, and you know, and when you're going through so many things, and especially what can bring about that kind of hating men is you know, girls who's been traumatized by them. You know what I mean? So if you suffer any kind of trauma or any kind of thing, that can make you into a savage woman. You know, and when I say savage, I mean like I didn't care about their emotions, their feelings. I have a way of cutting people off like they never existed. And I would just go ghost on them. I would just get them to fall in love with me and just go ghost on them. They don't know, they can't find me, they don't know where I am, they never see me again. All this time they thought they had a girlfriend. Not only that, I didn't care about their emotions. You know what I mean? It would be easy for me to just, I don't care. You know, I could have talking to somebody, then I'm talking to somebody else, and I don't care if they see each other, meet each other, or see me and them walking in the street, look at me like I'm crazy. I walk right past you. Savage. And it seemed like I never really wanted a man until he was with somebody else. If I see that man with somebody else, all lovey-dovey, that's the man I want. That was the kind of person I want. Not that I want the man, I just want the power to be able to feel like I can take that man. Once I take him, I don't want nothing else to do with him, because I never really wanted him in the first place. I just wanted to see if I can get him from her. People like that are very, very dangerous, and I could, yes, admit, back then, I was very dangerous. You don't want me as your friend, trust me. And, you know, it's because I had a lot of issues with me. I had a lot of issues with myself. No, change can come about good, because you know, when it took some time, you know, for me to really change, but I was angry. When I was like that, I was an angry person. It doesn't take, you know, at that point, it's like you're cold and you're mean, and you don't feel no love. You know what I mean? You know that song by what's his name? The one who sing August. A nigga like me, no love. That was me. Okay, so I recognized very early on in my young age that a lot of men were attracted to me, because when I was younger, I was somewhat attractive. I could say that because, you know, when I walk into a room, everybody would just turn around and stare. Not only I had the face, the little exotic looking face, I had a widow's peak, and I had eyebrows that met, and I had a waist with hips all the way out to here. And, you know, I got the men attention, and I realized early that I had that came with some power, and I used it in the wrong way. You know, I used it to like torture men. Didn't like them. I didn't care if they were fighting over me. You two can fight. Let me go on to this one over here. Savage. Didn't like women either. Women didn't like me. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it wasn't about them. It was about me. So what happened now? My mom and I, we were really, really, really close. The closest I'm talking about, we were like best friends. Because my mother wasn't like no she wasn't like no old mother. My mother liked to wear the latest fashions and stuff like that. My mother never really learned how to drive because she was scared. So when you see my mother, you see me, and we both be jamming together in the car. That's my best friend, talking about people together. You know, I mean, she was my partner. You mess with me, mom is coming at you. Okay? And mama was a savage like no other. Okay? So, you know, that was my best friend. Now, what happened to me is when I was younger, you know, I was going to college because I've always been ambitious. I've always been smart. And I was on a scholarship where I could have gotten to any college that I want to. And it's when I was in that program, I found out I was pregnant with my son. And at that point, it was like the next best thing to do, get married. And I got married at a young age when I had my son. Now, the father and I, we were two savages. That didn't work out together too well, too long. Okay, so that relationship ended. At the time that relationship ended, I had a very traumatic experience happen to me, because not only did I lose my mom in a car crash that I was driving the car, I had recently started developing a relationship with Jehovah God. I started studying with the witnesses, and at the same time I met my husband that I'm with now. So it's like I had three major things happen to me all at the same time. So what happened now, from my mom being from the car accident, I was like in a major state of shock. Now my relationship with God, I kind of hold back, like, wait a minute now. I just started, you know, studying the Bible, starting to get to know you, and now what's going on here? What's this? You know, now I'm dealing with a grief that I've never dealt with in all my life. And on top of that, I have a new man that I really hadn't, like I said, I was cold. I hadn't bonded with him. He was just somebody that I met. So now that tragedy forced me, I could either do two things. I could either back away from God, because I could have said, well, you know what, he's the one who caused this to happen to me, or I could have go closer to him. I chose to go closer to him. And when I got closer to him, I had no choice. My mother was watching my son while I went to college. Now my son is back with me full time. And now the guy that I met, we got married. And so, boom, we left New York. And now I have a new religion. I have a new husband. And now I have my son to take full responsibility for. And on top of that, I got 2 more kids. So now I have 3 kids. I found myself, listen, I never, when I was younger, I never see myself married with a husband and children. Me. I used to be like, you know what, I'm going to have me a little condo, and I'm going to be, you know, living single, doing my thing, you know. No, I found myself married with 3 children, 4 years apart from each other, and a husband that I can't cheat on, because now I'm a Jehovah's Witness and I'm held accountable by Jehovah God, because I had grown over time to love him. So now all those bad habits had to be put to the side, because the love I had for him had to be the love greater than the love that I had for self. Now I'm looking at these 3 children like, what do you suppose? What you mean you're hungry? I'm hungry too. You know, that motherly instinct and stuff like that, that wasn't there at first. It was just like, okay, who y'all looking at? You know? So I had to learn really to be a mother. You know what I mean? To put the children first ahead of myself. You know? And let me tell you, that was crazy. That was a crazy time for me. You hear? And I found myself successful. Not only have I been married for 20 years, over 20 years now, over 20 years, I have raised amazing children through the help of Jehovah God. My husband, he's always been ambitious, so he went back to school. While I was, you know, there with the kids, he went to school and he got his degree in occupational therapy. Then he went back and then he got his MBA in, MBA in healthcare administration or healthcare management. And then he's got his MBA. I don't know, I gotta look and see what the MBA is in, because I don't even know what the MBA is in. I'll tell y'all another time. But he was running a hospital in San Francisco, so it's in healthcare administration or something like that. It's healthcare. So so now he has he's an occupational therapist, and now he has an MBA in healthcare administration. And my son, he's now an ER nurse. He's going back to school now to get his, he said he wants to be a nurse practitioner. My daughter Stacy, she's 23, 24. She was going to college because she said she wanted to be a doctor, and 2 classes away from her degree in biomedical science, she changed and said she wanted to be a paramedic. She went to go be a paramedic, and then now she's a fire girl. I don't know. Father is upset. Let the children live their life. Whatever she wants to do, I'm here for her. I love her. That's my child. And then I have the little one, Brittany, who loves children and said she wanted to pursue her education in career in education. So she was always looking to be a teacher. Now she changed. She says she wanted to be a pediatric nurse. Okay, we're here to bat them, whatever. So you see, all my children have turned out amazingly well, and I have a great life. Can't complain. I went back to school and I did my RN, and you know, I'm actually working with troubled people. Okay, come to think of it, and I was a troubled person. So people can change. The problem is now, why? What is the reason for them to change? They have to change because they want to change. They have to change because they want to change. Let me tell you something, people. I'm very transparent, and I'm so different than my husband because my husband is so private. You will not know nothing about that man or his business or his life. You will just look at him and you don't know nothing. My husband don't talk. My husband don't tell nobody nothing. He's very private. And my husband has a big problem with me because, look, I'm on social media talking about all my business. Because we're opposite, we're different. That's how I am. And so he don't like it, but he can't change me. That's how I am. So let's say, what was I saying now? Yes, so last year was one of the hardest years of my life. The past, I would say the year before last, and last year too, was the hardest year of my life. The hardest year of my life. I have never been through this kind of test and pain that I have been through just these past 2 years. It's just been unbelievable. To make a long story short, I have been, you know, an exemplary, you know, to myself and my family for over 20 years. I've loved my husband, and I have been happy in my marriage, and you know, just being blessed and thanking God, because I never thought it would happen to me. But 2 years ago, my husband decided he came upon a business opportunity. They called and said if he could come over to San Francisco and run a hospital over there. They were paying 6 digits, over 6 digits. You understand? So my husband said it would be a good opportunity for him because, you know, that's something that he wants to pursue. So we took the trip over there, and at the time the kids were in school. They were doing their own little thing, and everybody had got accustomed to where we were living here in Florida. So nobody wanted to really up and leave. So I took a trip out there. I said, you go ahead first. You know, I'm not going to hold my husband back. I said, you go ahead first, and then, you know, then you send for me later on. Okay? So after he was there a good 6 months, he told me to come over there, and we went over there and look and to see if it's someplace I would like to live. And I said, no, I don't want to live there. I like Florida. My life is in Florida. My kids are in Florida. You know, there's no palm trees. San Francisco kind of remind me of New York a little bit, and I left New York because of all the busy craziness. So I wanted something quiet and peaceful like I have now. So I said, no, I want to stay in Florida. I don't want to go over there. So my husband said, okay. Let me tell you, people, my husband is my best friend. Like, I don't have friends outside of my husband for 20 years. It's just been, when you see me, you see my husband. It's just been me, my husband, and my kids and my family. Okay? My sister lives close to us. It's just us. You ain't never see me with nobody, because I have never because I never grew up with friends. I've never learned what it's like to have relationships with women. All my relationships have been negative with women, because when I was younger, you know, like I said, I was a savage, and on top of that, I was quite attractive, and, you know, guys was attracted to me, and the girls was upset about it. So, you know, I've always been a very flamboyant person, and they didn't like that. So I grew up being beat up by girls, so I don't trust them. Okay, so I don't have friends. So anyways, my husband was my best friend. When my husband went to San Francisco, I developed such a deep depression. Let me tell you, I was so sad. Everything hit me. The death of my mother hit me. because I was driving the car that killed her. So now the way how I deal with things, I kind of put it out my mind, separate from how my sister deal with things. You know, you come to my house, you would not see one picture of my mother anywhere. You go to my sister's house, you'll see her picture everywhere in the house. That's how I need to deal. That's how I dealt with it. Everything hit me. The death of my mother, the death of many family members I had, the painfulness of being, you know, alone. And my kids, even though they were there in the house with me, they were grown. Stacy was doing her own thing. At one point, that girl had like 3 jobs. I barely ever see her. Andrew was already moved out the house. And Brittany stayed with my sister because she was working in the school district with my sister, so they stayed together. So I was alone, and I was so depressed. Oh my God. I kept eating, gaining weight. I was just like crying. I've never been through that kind of a depression before. And when my husband came to visit, he saw me, he said, what's going on with you? And I was like, nothing, I'm fine, you know, trying to hold a good face for him. And my husband said, no, I'm coming home. And my husband came home last year. My husband came home. He said, okay, I had a realtor and everything because I was going to buy a house in San Francisco. Now that, you know, you don't want to live there, just get a house. And, you know, I kept telling him I want to move. I want to go somewhere different. You know, at the time that I developed a depression, I became inactive in my faith. Meaning that I just stopped going. Didn't go anymore. That's it. And, you know, and so when my husband came home, finally, he came home after about a year, and he had said, okay, you're not going to buy the house. Go pick a house somewhere else in Florida, and we could move. And so I picked a house, smaller house in a nicer area in Windermere somewhere, and we moved. When I came over here now, I was the first one to come over here. My husband came from San Francisco and boom, straight into another facility, running. Anybody in administration? No, there's no 9 to 5 in administration. Okay, when you're the administrator, you're on call 24/7. Everything goes wrong in the facility, everybody's calling you. And my husband stayed busy. Plus my husband is like, he had business on the side where he was trying to flip houses on the side, and you know, he was doing this, he was online doing that. My husband just has to stay busy. And even though he came back from San Francisco, I was so still lonely because my husband was gone. I wouldn't see him, and when he did come home, he was tired and then have to get up to go to work on the weekends. We'll be doing stuff together. The phone wouldn't start ringing. Everybody's calling him. And it was just like, I felt lonely. And within that time, the fact that I was no longer active in my faith or anything like that, guess what? Bad habits started rolling back, started coming back. Those bad savagery behavior started coming back. And now it's like the old Allison was starting to appear again, slowly. And let me tell you, the devil had got a hold of me. Let me tell you, my neck was literally in its mouth. It was in its mouth. The only thing left for it to do was close it. And let me tell you, my husband, when he saw that happening, he was like, immediately, he quit his job. He went into business for himself. That man came fighting for me like a soldier in war. He was fighting to take my head from out the lion's mouth. And even when he was taking my head from out the lion's mouth, I was fighting him to put my head back inside the mouth, because I was comfortable there. I had got accustomed to the lion's environment. I wanted to be back there, and my husband was fighting me for me. He was fighting me for me. And it was, I've never experienced something like that in all my life. In all my years, I've never. And I know that the devil, when I became inactive, the devil became active. He became real active. He was like, yeah, I know what you like. I know you. I'm going to get you. So how I can say now, the only thing that's left from that is that left some wound, some injury. Okay, because if you've ever been mauled by a lion, you know that you're pretty bruised up. So now I'm in the healing stage of healing my wounds and stuff. But in life, I've always taught, if you don't go through something, you're never going to understand it, and you'll never be able to teach it, and you'll never be able to relate to it to other people and to be able to help other people. So when you go through something sometimes and you come out of it, it just makes you stronger. It makes you stronger. And okay, that was the one experience I've never had. I have it now. And I can speak on it now because I know what it's like. So now it's just like, okay, I know me personally, I have to be held accountable for my actions. So I need to have that relationship with God. I need to get back to where I need to be so that, you know, that will help me continue on the path that I've been on for 20 years and continue going the right direction. If I told you all my 20-something years have been perfect, from last year it was no longer perfect. Something happened last year that really took me for a major spin. But you know what? Our marriages have its ups and downs, and it's on my part. It's not on my husband's part. But you know what? If you can come through that and still maintain stronger than ever, that shows you that marriage is for life. Nothing is going to break that. That love is for life. So when you ask the question, can she change? Yes, she can change. But that change has to come from within. She has to want to change. Because if she doesn't want to change, there's nothing you can do to change that woman. There's nothing you can do to change her. She has to want to change herself. So, you know, now that I has brought this to your attention, I'm just trying to let you understand, in life is a learning lesson. And so far in life, I've learned everything. I've learned grief, I've learned pain, I've learned savagery, I've learned good, I've learned motherhood, I've learned how to be a good wife. I've learned everything. Now I've learned this. I've learned this. I've learned to never say never, because you never know what can happen. That I know the wicked one is dangerous. I know he's evil. I know he knows your weaknesses. And I know that you always have to keep up on your Bible reading, your relationship. You know, if you're gonna be a Christian, you gotta be a Christian all the way. Because the minute that you stop, the devil is gonna introduce himself. Remember me, and you're no match. You know what I mean? So don't get somebody from outside talking about how if you're a Christian person, you say, oh, I'm gonna bring this one into my in there because, you know, I'll change him, or I know she's doing this, she's displaying some behaviors now, but I know I can change her. Sweetie pie, lovey-dovey, you cannot change nobody. You cannot change nobody. The only thing that can change somebody is if that person is willing to change for themselves. They have to want to change, because that's what differentiates us from the animals. We have the right to choose. And she has to choose that, you know what, I want to change. And, you know, changing for the better, it's not easy. It comes with, you know, it comes with sacrifice. Because immediate gratification, no, you're not going to get that, but you'll get it in the long term. So take it from somebody who's been married for over 20 years. In over 20 years, I can say my husband and I, we never had a problem. But these last 2 years, it's been rocky. And it's not on my husband's part, it's on my part, because I was going through my own thing. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, I was once a savage. I'm no longer a savage, you know? And I'm grateful. I'm glad of the woman that I have turned out to become. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I don't know why God had mercy on my soul this much to bless me with such an amazing life. Anybody who has met my kids, you love them. Can't have anything to say. The best kids that anybody could ask for. No problems whatsoever. My son is the only one, you know, he's young, he's the oldest one. And, you know, I have my other 2 daughters. I couldn't ask for better children. I couldn't ask for a more loving husband. I couldn't ask for anything more. What did God see in me that he decided to bless me in such a large way? I really don't know, because I really don't see that in myself. I hadn't at the time, but I'm starting to see that now. And when I use when I'm helping other people, I see there's a beauty in me that only my husband was able to see. You understand me? But children see it. I'm good with children. They see that, you know. But I guess it's something with the adults that, you know, sometimes they're, you know, they seem to be able to trying to pull back that whole Allison, because, you know, that savagery person, you never really, you know, you never really change 100%. You could change your personality, but that person is still deep in you. So it's a basically fight every day to, you know, to become a better person. And it's some people will try to bring out that bad person, and she has come out a couple of times. Trust me, she's not nice. And then, you know, then I have to pray and put her right back. Be like, girlfriend, you need to go right back where you was. Wherever you was sitting, hiding, go right back there. You ain't fitting to come and ruin up in my life, because, you know, she ain't no joke. She ain't no joke. Trust me, she ain't no kind of joke. She ain't nobody to play with. So anyway, I'm going to leave you now. I got to go. I haven't been on here for a little bit because I've been busy. So, you know, I love you. A quick note. I had some people calling and asking me all kind of stupid questions. Listen to me, I have no time to play games with people. This is supposed to be something positive, okay? And I am here to share positive knowledge. I am here to share some good things. Stop playing around with people, okay? I'm here to answer the questions that you have, if you generally want to know answers to, you know? So have a good day. Love you, and we'll talk again another time. Bye-bye.